Quick video from the Burton Builds garage on how to replace the bearings in an idler pulley. Now this idler pulley comes from a lawn tractor which is about 50 years old, so especially in South Africa, buying a replacement part is pretty much non-accessible. If you are in the US, then maybe you could buy something that'll fit, but definitely not here in South Africa, especially not on short notice. I did go down to the lawnmower shop and they said probably a 12-week waiting period. Now, I can't exactly wait 12 weeks, so I decided to replace the bearings myself. Best case scenario here is probably to buy another one if you can. Second best is probably just to remanufacture one of these, so taking a billet of aluminium, something like this. This is a lot smaller than what it needs to be, but basically something like this, and turning in a little relief in here for the belt to travel in, so you'll have two little upper lips, and then turning a relief in there so you can press a bearing in either side, and there we've got a nice flat belt pulley again. I don't have a lathe on hand at the moment. Well, I've got access to one, but it's quite far away. So for today, I decided to actually split the pulley. Now, the pulley you can see is splittable. It's made out of two halves, and it's spot welded together in 6 points. And also, this is the inner race of the bearing. So this part was in here, and the balls, of course, were also in there. Those balls are long gone all over the floor at the moment, so I'm not going to be picking those up. But anyway, what I originally thought, and the way this bearing or the way this pulley possibly was made, is that you had, of course, two halves, and you would have had one small bearing in that side, one small bearing in this side, and then a bit of a sort of a collar pressed in from either side. That's what it looked like. So what I ended up doing was just drilling out those 6 spot welds and then trying to split it. Now, one of the halves came off, it split, and then what we were left with was basically, this is half of the race, one half was there, and the other half was, of course, on the other side like that. And then this piece was left in the center. Now, this could also happen to you guys pretty damn easily, where I needed to press this out. And when I saw this, I realized, okay, this is a single piece bearing. It's a double roller, deep groove ball bearing, and well, they're not also that accessible here in South Africa. So what I'll do is I'll just press it out from this side, and then we've got it out. I'll pull out both of the wipers on either side, or the seals. We'll wash it out, grease it up, and then hopefully it lasts another couple of years. Well, that didn't happen. As soon as I pushed it out, the bearing broke in half. Now, the bearings don't normally break this easily. This material is quite hard, or it's quite tough. So obviously this thing has done a bit of work in its life and basically just snapped for no good reason. Well, I suppose for some good reason, for a lot of hard work. I went down to the bearing shop and this type of bearing was not available, so I need to make another plan, and this is possibly what you guys can also do. Let's get rid of these parts. So there's two options here basically, and you guys might also have to choose between one of these two options. The closest bearing that I could get with a 3/8 diameter hole on the inside were these ones. Now I think these are a 6000. No, not this one. I can't even remember what that doesn't even have a number on it. But anyway, it's 3/8 on the inside and then 22.2 millimeters on the outside. But clearly we can see that it's not meant to go in there. Just for reference, this internal diameter here is 1 inch. I also managed to find this bearing. Now this is a 6000 RS, the RS meaning just there's two seals and one on either side, with an internal diameter, I believe this is 3/8 inside and 26 millimeters outside. So with 26 millimeters outside and with 25.4 millimeters inside, and this being steel, which is malleable to some extent, it's possible to actually press this bearing in there with a little bit of stretching. So the two options is either pressing a single bearing in the middle with some spacing on the outside, we'll get to that shortly, or using two of these bearings, and which are slightly smaller, 3/8 on the inside and 22 on the outside, and then shimming, making a little shim around the outside. Now the shim we would have to make needs to take up a gap of 3 millimeters, so 1.5 millimeters either side. We could do that out of brass, out of aluminium, whatever we wanted to actually. So I ended up buying two of those bearings and brought it home. That's originally what I was going to do, but the thing is, if I make that, we can actually see if we press that all together and bolt it up or weld it up again, there's going to be a gap in the flat pulley, which is not really going to work, although there's going to be a lot of support for a lot of support on the pulley because there's a bearing on either side. So what I've decided to go with is a single bearing in the middle. Now, this gap here between that edge and that edge is 12 millimeters. This bearing is 8 millimeters wide or thick, so we've got 4 millimeters to take up. I'm going to use these fiber washers, so 5 of these fiber washers, there's 3 here and 2 there, make up 4 millimeters, and we'll just pop these into this side, we'll pop 3 into this side, and we'll pop 2 into that side, and then we'll press the bearing in. So the bearing will be kind of riding between this half and this half. Once we've done that, then I'll just bolt the 2 halves together and we'll monitor how well it lasts. Now I say how well it lasts because the single bearing being in the middle here is not going to have a lot of support, lateral support left and right. So we'll have to see how it lasts. That's why I'm not going to weld it together. I'm going to bolt it back together. We'll take it apart at a later stage once it's got a couple of hours of work on it and to see how well this works. But I've got no doubt that it'll work fine because the belt runs in the middle and it's just pulling straight down on the pulley. So mostly we've only got a vertical pressure on this bearing. It's not trying to rock back and forward. Now that's something that you guys can do at home. I just thought I'd share it with you in case you're trying to come up with ideas and you need to make a quick fix to one of your pulleys. Now this is a flat belt pulley, but you also get V-belt style pulleys that takes a V, also split types of pulleys, so you can employ the same method. And you could even, if I knew this was going to work, maybe next time we could rivet this together. Now I wouldn't use aluminium rivets, I'd use stainless steel rivets because they're a lot stronger, but I don't want to do that until I know that bearing is going to last. And I also quite like this because it is serviceable. So later on down the line, where this thing is running outside on a lawnmower very close to the ground and in the dirt, maybe every couple of years we can replace that bearing just by unbolting these 2 halves. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this little video. My name is Grant Burton. This is the Burton Builds Garage, and you'll see me in the next video. Cheers.